Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Caffeinated Combos with Lauren. We have a lot to get through today and I know I missed last week. I apologize. But let's get into some things, shall we? The first thing I wanted to talk about is protecting your peace. What does that mean? When I say that, I'm talking about balancing work and balancing your life, right? Before we dive into everything else, I do want you guys to just think about like your hobbies, your passions, things that really fuel you, day to day on a weekly basis and even annually sometimes. And sometimes we can get very caught up in the idea to turn those loved hobbies into something capitalistic or something that we want to make money off of. In this fast-paced online world, it's very easy to turn everything that we love into work, but it's very important to save some things for yourself. For example, I love cooking. Cooking is something that genuinely calms me down. It relaxes me. It allows me to be more creative and I get to eat delicious foods. I just think it's very fun. But that's something that I kind of keep for myself. I've thought about going to culinary school before. I've worked in restaurants before, but it's genuinely just something that I had to think about. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just cook for my family and all of my friends and my girlfriend. So I really want you guys to just sit and think about what's that thing or a couple of things, because I have a couple of different things like that. Just think about if you want to make that work, or if you want to save a little bit for yourself and protect your peace. And even with me saying all of that, I still have dreams of opening a music-centered cafe one day, but that's something that I would do way later down in the road. At this point in my life, I definitely want to take my cooking and just share it with the people closest to me. And speaking of community and preserving joy, let's talk about how the internet has changed over the years. Let's talk online communities, then versus now. I have been on the internet for a very long time. I was definitely one of the test dummies for social media. I feel like I was on there very young, very early, and I've seen a gradual change in community over the years as well. Do you remember Instagram's activity page? Do you remember being able to see your friends liked post on Twitter? We can even say something more recently, like them removing the repost note off of TikTok. It feels like our communities are being stripped away more and more with these updates and with these apps. It feels like they're creating one big timeline for all of us to kind of scroll on. And I'm sick of it. I miss the corners. I miss the little pockets in the internet that felt safe, that felt for you, that felt genuinely authentic and tailored to your interest. I feel like we all live in one big timeline now on the internet. We all see the same things. We talk about the same things. The reason you clicked on this video was probably something you saw in the thumbnail. I have a strong nostalgia for the internet, but I also have a strong desire to see it go back to that place, or at least be a formative new space and have this, this third place that we can kind of go to. Because I feel like the social media aspect of the internet has been morphed into our daily lives so much that it's no longer this cool third place that I was able to kind of go hide out from my life in. It's become work. It's become capitalism. It's become a lot. I really hate the loss of community in it all, but also I feel like we still do have those small pockets, especially within music and different creators that I find, but it's very hard to kind of find genuine creators that I also love in communities that I really want to be a part of, which is why I'm trying to build one myself. I mean, what they say, if you don't have a seat at the table, make your own table. This loss of community isn't just online. It's not just with social media though. This goes within music. It goes within artists, which brings me to Renee Rapp. Renee Rapp as Sally. If you guys don't know, Renee Rapp was at the role model show for the Kansas Anymore tour and she got to be Sally. Let's check out this clip. First of all, I didn't even know that they were friends. When I seen this video, I was like, okay. If you guys are unaware, Role Model is a singer and songwriter, musician, and he has a segment of his show that when he's performing his song, Sally When the Wine Runs Out, he brings a guest from the audience up. Sometimes it could be a celebrity. It can be literally anyone from the audience. I think at his LA show, he brought Renee Rapp up as Sally, and I loved every minute of it. But I'm bringing this up because I want to talk about how exciting things like this is for fans to see, bringing it back to that community aspect that I was just talking about, I feel like that also happens within community of artists. Like I feel like nowadays I don't really see artists on Instagram posting smaller artists that they're listening to, or even bigger projects that came out that they really respect and loved. I don't see big collaborations with 6 to 7 people on them anymore. Like we used to get that. We used to get VMA performances with 10 people that we knew and loved on stage, and now it feels like everyone's in their own bubble. Again, bringing that back to the social media thing, it really feels like the community aspect is dying from a lot of different aspects of life in general. And I don't know, her going up on stage, and obviously this is something that Role Model does every single night at his show. I feel like small things like that are exciting for the artists because they're just letting loose, they're having fun, there's no gimmicks behind it, but it's also cool as fans to see that. I just love seeing artists turn the fuck up together and genuinely have fun. Speaking of artists coming together, Billie Eilish just did an interview with a bunch of special guests. Let's check this out. So I wanted to read some of these questions and answers from Billie. So we've got a question from Chaperone. Okay, Chaperone says, okay, let's kick this thing off. Billie, my love, fun question. People are curious, why don't you wear long nails anymore? Care to explain? People on Twitter try to act so dense when Chapo asked this question. We know why a lesbian to a bisexual woman would ask this question. People were like, oh my God, yeah, it's because of her guitar. We totally get that. Let's not be dense. like, what's really going on here? This is what Billie had to say. Okay, well, God, I love having long nails so much that I can't play any instruments with them. I love to pick up a guitar, play piano when at home or on tour, and I just can't do that even when I have insanely long nails. I pop some on every now and then though. I miss them so much. Love you, Chapel. Thank you for asking. I think we got some more questions here. Ariana Grande, what makes you the happiest? This is what Billie had to say. Hi, Ari. You know what my answer is to this one. Dopamine. I love activities. I love doing stuff. I can't be stagnant. That's what really makes me happy. Things that make me feel activated and stimulated and alive. So anything that involves dopamine. That's literally me. That's too real, Billie, because that's me. I don't know what her zodiac is, her Enneagram, or any of the shit personality types that Billie Eilish has, but girl, same. Okay, so Ariana actually gave a follow-up question. She says, you give so much of yourself to the world and to your people as such a vulnerable, emotional, general artist and friend. What is something that helps you replenish when your tank is running low? That is such a good question to ask artist to artist. Love that. This is what Billie had to say. God, I love you. I realized recently that I think my favorite thing in the world is to hang out. Same. Like, I just love being around people that I love. People that make me laugh and make me feel whole. You know, kindred souls? Am I stupid? I don't know. That's the stuff that keeps me sane. Laughing really is my cure. Also, I feel like being with my brother, Phineas, is kind of my cure. And my mama and my dad. I feel like they are always the ones when it is getting too much. Really, Phineas makes everything better. I love that because I feel like, we hear a lot about artists that kind of hit this burnout phase or this stagnant phase, and when they really need to be grounded, what do they do? And some people don't really have a group of people that are looking out for them to fall back on, and some people also don't have God or a religion that they're really falling back on or anything. So I love that Billie has that, and I feel like that's very, very important, especially for how young she came into this industry. We've seen what happened to young stars like Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, just Usher, to name a few. But yeah, I love that. Next up, we have Miss Carpenter. She says, what's your gas station order? Of course, Sabrina, you couldn't. Ariana's like, where do you go when you feel your lowest? And Sabrina's like, what'd you get at the gas station, girl? What? Oh my God, Sabrina, hi. I love these questions. I don't hit the gas station that much anymore because I drive an electric car, but I'll always get gum. Yes, Billie. I'll buy gum anytime I see it. Good old spearmint. Yes, Billie. Never fruity, never bubble gum. Disgusting. Also, a Monster Energy drink? No, Billie. You lost me there. Let's see if anybody that I really care about asks. Oh, Nicki Minaj. This may be an odd question, but you seem to be a bit uncomfortable with how beautiful you are at times. I could be wrong. Many women from all walks of life have felt that their work was overshadowed by their beauty or their physical attributes. Was there ever a time in your career or before you made it when you wished people couldn't see you and that they could only hear the music and really get a chance to just listen to the written words? Whoa. That question from Nicki Minaj, that is first of all, you got a legend asking you a question, but that's such a good question. These are questions from artists. Low key, we need to do more artist interviews, not obviously I love the media, not the influencers with the artists. We need artist to artist because I feel like they would understand other artists better, you know, and the things that they go through. But I love that Nicki asked that question. That's very, yeah, I mean, it is an odd question, but it's also just not. It's just super real, and I'm interested to see how Billie's gonna answer this. But she said, Nicki, this question made me tear up a little. Well, like you said at the beginning of that question, I've never really felt very beautiful or seen myself in that way. So I definitely struggled with the idea that it would overshadow anything. Since I didn't even really see it myself, I've had to really convince myself that I am beautiful. Being a woman is hard. Yeah, and I remember when Billie first came out and like, she had a lot of weird comments about her body, and I remember her starting to dress like very, very differently and covering more of herself up. And then when she like would put on a dress or show a little bit more, like people would act fucking insane. And yeah, this Nicki's question and Billie's answer, I feel like no matter what field you're in, no matter what you're doing for a career, for school, for just life, this is how we feel. When you wished people couldn't see you and could only hear the written words. Like, yeah, sometimes I don't even want my face on the internet some days. And then I'm like, but I want this information out. I want what I have to say to be out there. But like, I mean, it gets hard, dude. It gets very hard, and people can be cruel. But yeah, go read up on this interview. It's super dope to see a bunch of artists and a bunch of, you know, just different celebrities, actors and things like that, writers, to like ask Billie these introspective questions. I think it's important. I feel like it should happen more often. And yeah, I feel like artists can tap into an interview with another artist a lot better than like anybody looking from the outside in. Speaking of artists though, let's talk about Frank Ocean and a potential new album. I don't know if you guys have seen the billboards that have been popping up that people assume are for Frank Ocean and that he placed them there. It could be a potential album rollout for him. There's also been rumors of him and SZA being in the studio as of recently. I don't know how true that is, but if so, if we get a Frank and SZA track, I'll scream, actually. But I feel like with Frank rollouts, they're very mysterious. You kind of don't see them coming. It's always a shock, always a surprise. I'm always ready. I feel like I'm always ready and prepared and sat for a Frank Ocean album or song. By the snippet, we got a new snippet and it sounds absolutely amazing. I've looped the snippet probably at least like 30 times now on TikTok. I am like desperately in need of a new Frank Ocean album. But do we have any Frank Ocean fans on the channel? Let me know if that would be, I mean, I would be doing that reaction regardless if nobody watched it. But yeah, I'd be super excited for that. In terms of how it would sound, I have no idea. And honestly, I like to go into Frank Ocean albums or any of like my favorite artists with zero expectations, if I'm being honest. And Frank isn't the only one teasing new music. We might be getting a Lorde summer. We might be getting a new album from Lorde this summer. We've been seeing Lorde in the media again. She was at Coachella. She's even shared snippets of new music. And honestly, this snippet sounds a lot like Melodrama and Pure Heroine mixed together, which to me would be the perfect album sonically. I am in desperate need of a new Lorde album. Lorde was one of my favorite artists as a teenager. I literally couldn't escape her. And I just feel like she wrote so much groundbreaking music and like songwriting at 17 years old. Like that, Pure Heroine is just a masterpiece in my eyes. In terms of sound, I don't see Lorde really taking any big leaps, but I do see her working with new collaborators, who I'm not sure. I would expect that Charlie XCX would be on the album. And yeah, I don't know. Whatever Lorde decides to write about and give us, I'm totally here for it. And I'm just super excited for this new era for her. And let me know if you guys are Lorde fans. What's your favorite project from her? And also any predictions that you may have for this album. From future releases to recent launches, let's talk about Beyonce's Cecred line. If you guys are unfamiliar, Beyonce released her Cecred hair care line and she released it in stores at Ulta. Over 1,400 Ulta locations has received the products and already doubled its weekly sales projections. And they said she wasn't going to be able to do it. Not only is Cecred performing extremely well in terms of sales and financially, there are so many testimonies for these products that have me blown away almost. Not that I didn't believe Beyonce could create a great hair care line, but there are products that Beyonce has released in the past that I have not been a fan of, just being an honest fan here. But with these testimonies and the way my hair has been going, I might do some content for Cecred. I think I need this in my life. I need some edge repair. I need some moisturization. I need my scalp massage. So if that's some content that you guys would want, maybe I can get into my beauty guru era for you guys. But I just wanted to say congratulations to Beyonce and to the Cecred team and to Mama Tina, because you guys are absolutely smashing it in this world of hair care and beauty. I love to see it. My only issue with Cecred is it being so expensive, but honestly, if you want a luxury product, you're gonna have to pay luxury prices. Now let's pivot to a topic that's always buzzing. Beyonce again. Beyonce and Keri Hilson's one-sided beef. If you guys are unfamiliar with Keri Hilson and who that is, she is an R&B singer of the 2010s and early 2000s. She was one of Beyonce's peers at one point and quickly got left in the dust. And she released this song in 2009 called Turning Me On Remix, which was essentially a direct diss track to Beyonce. Now we have Miss Keri Hilson in 2025 backtracking on her statements and basically opening up about how this was none of her idea and she went with it because of the labels kind of forcing her hand. Here's a clip so you guys can see it.
It's a regret. It's a regret, but not in the way that people would think, because that's a song that I actually didn't write. Those are not my words. I was on tour. Polo wanted me to do a remix to Turning Me On. Mm-hmm. He had produced the record, and I wasn't, because I was on tour with Lil Wayne. I wasn't able to lay anything down. He had been on me for a couple of weeks about we need to do a remix. Okay, so I take off. It wasn't happening quick enough for him. I take off. We fly in. Another writer in our camp at the time, he had her write this. So he played it for me this is the remix, because I'm thinking I'm coming in to go write a remix to Turning Me On. The whole time I had been writing concepts, but I come into the studio and he plays me this verse, and I'm like, automatically, I'm like, that's I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. That was my position. Tried to fight him on it, and I began writing my own. That's what I did with my time there, but I want to be careful with the word I use. Mm-hmm. It was quite forceful.
In an executive artist way?
Yeah, in an executive artist way only. Mm-hmm. The mistake that I made was not continuing to fight, but I was in tears. I was crying. I was adamant that I did not want to do that.
And honestly, I don't know what the reason would be to say this information now. I guess to clear the air, but I feel like this almost looks worse to me. Yeah, the label forced you, but at the end of the day, you essentially committed career suicide by doing this. Because after this moment, I rarely ever heard about Keri Hilson again. And she did mention that she wants to have a sit down with Beyonce. How likely is that? I'm not sure, considering what you said and it taking you this many years to kind of finally come out and say this. Hopefully they can be mature about it and both have a conversation, but I would also really respect if Beyonce didn't want to do that. And talks for a collab, I think it's just extremely out of the question. I don't think we'll ever get that, if I'm being honest. But I don't want to stay on this topic too long. Let's talk about Lady Gaga's Coachella performance. If you guys don't live under a rock, you probably have seen Lady Gaga's Coachella set performance from weekend 1, also weekend 2. Insane set, dude. Gaga's performance is absolutely top tier, completely unmatched. I loved the dancers. I love her stage presence, her breath control. The mic was on. I think she absolutely devoured this performance, but I think a lot of people are getting very carried away when they're comparing it to something like Beachella. Beachella was a cultural reset. Beachella is still talked about every single year Coachella happens. Why? Because it's iconic. And while Gaga's set was amazing, I don't know if it would be considered iconic. I do love this era for Gaga. I'm absolutely living for her Mayhem era. I will be at the tour, so hopefully some of you guys can come run up to me and say hello. But yeah, I'm just loving this for her. The same way I felt about, Beyonce doing these 3-act trilogies and kind of coming back home to herself almost. That's the same way I feel like what Gaga has been doing more recently. It just feels like both of these ladies are tapping into their true artistry and not really caring about how it's being perceived, which I stand for 100%. Love them both. Phenomenal performers, both in their own right. From live shows to music videos, let's talk Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther. I absolutely loved the Luther music video that Kendrick and SZA released. I think it's one of the most highlighted videos of this year, if I'm being honest. I love the depiction of Black love all throughout the video. I love the cinematic shots and just how it was filmed. It just felt like home to me, and it felt like Kendrick and SZA were so in their element. And I don't know. I know I keep talking about Kendrick and SZA on my channel, but it's their era right now. I mean, they just started the tour. We got 51 tracks on this tour, on the set list. Let's go over it. Whacked Out Murals, Squabble Up, King Kunta, Element, TV Off, 30 for 30, Love Galore, Broken Clocks, The Weeknd, Euphoria, Hey Now, Reincarnated, Humble, Backseat, Freestyle, Family Ties, Swimming Pools, Mad City, Alright, Man at the Garden, Scorsese, Baby Daddy, F2F, Garden, Kitchen, Blind, Forgiveness Low, Doves in the Wind, All the Stars, The Love, Dodger Blue, Peekaboo, Like That, DNA, Good Credit, Count Me Out, Money Trees, Poetic Justice, Diamond Boy, Shirt, Kill Bill, Snooze, Crybaby, Saturn, Good Days, Rich Baby Daddy, BMF, Kiss Me More, Bodies, TV Off, Not Like Us, Luther, and Gloria. Damn. This is a very, very long set list, and I feel like they did tap on some of the best songs in their discography, and I feel like it low-key flows very well. Like, you have moments of SZA popping out, Kendrick popping out, them popping out together. I really love, like, how this is going to, go, and I've already seen a lot of the concert clips from the first night. Super excited for the Philly show. If you guys are going to be there, definitely let me know. All right, let's switch gears to some viral TikTok drama. I don't even know if this would be considered drama because this is just more political. If you guys have not been in touch with American politics or media, let me break something down for you. There is a situation going on with the tariffs right now that is essentially a hellhole for small business owners, for low-income Americans, middle-class Americans, and even upper Americans. We even see some millionaires crashing out about this. China decided to retaliate in some ways. A lot of the Chinese manufacturers are on TikTok right now exposing the luxury brand companies, and they're essentially telling American buyers, like, hey, do y'all know that all of these luxury brands, or all of these even like everyday household products that you guys use, like Tide Pods, y'all know that y'all can get this for so much cheaper than what they are selling it to you in your home country? And people are in an uproar about this because people feel like the American government has been lying to us, which, like, did you just wake up on Earth? Do I believe that everything that was made is 100% finalized in different countries and then just a logo slapped on it? I don't know how true these claims are, but I will say there are a lot of things made in China. There are a lot of things that the American government does to cover up some of their capitalistic trading. And I'm starting to wonder, are people just paying for a logo at this point? Because I feel like let's just say this sweater I have on that I thrifted, but let's just say the tag said Burberry. Would I buy this sweater more because it said Burberry? Am I willing to pay more, even though it could be the same exact sweater from like a Walmart or from some boutique? Am I paying for the logo, or am I paying for the product, the material? I think a lot of Americans tend to pay for the logo. It validates us. It makes us feel like we have something that the rich also have. It's like getting a nice car or going on that family vacation on your 2 weeks off. And it's something that a lot of Americans are victims of. And honestly, I'm for buying from China. I'm for getting your products cheaper. Stay afloat how you can in this economy right now, because a lot of us are literally drowning, whether it's financially, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, physically. We're drowning, dude. Most Americans can't even afford a home. That wasn't the case years ago. So God forbid somebody wants to buy something secondhand. God forbid somebody wants to get their Tide Pod straight from China because they can get 10 for $1. God forbid. I'm for it. And honestly, I just love sitting back and watching people scram over this. And while we're talking about, some more political things, let's talk about Katy Perry going to space. Because what was that? If you guys are unfamiliar, Katy Perry went to space with Gayle King, Jeff Bezos, and a couple other, people. They went up there for 11 minutes and then turned around safely. My big question with all of this is just why? What was the reasoning for it? And if it was out of just pure boredom or like entertainment or a sense of tourism for the rich, are we gonna start seeing rich people use their money in boredom in this way, to where a trip to Palm Springs just isn't enough anymore? We gotta go to space for 11 minutes. This is how we're gonna promote our tour set list. At what point are we gonna draw the line? Like, at what point are we gonna realize that this is, like, with everything going on in the world, why are we doing this? What is happening right now? This feels very out of touch, I feel like, and I feel like it served zero meaning whatsoever. It didn't make anyone's day better. Maybe for Katy and the others that were on there, but it just felt like them stunting their wealth a little bit. And I don't know if I was fully like for that. I feel like it's definitely a conversation starter. I don't want to say that that's what it fully was because I don't know at the end of the day, but it definitely opens up the conversation for that. But let me know what you guys think about that. If you thought it was weird, if you thought it was something cool, you just didn't care for it. I don't know. Let me know. Next up, I want to talk about the 25 best female rappers of all time, the Billboard list. Let's check it out. 25, Tierra Whack. Okay, I'm glad to see Tierra Whack, a Philly native, made the list. Honestly, deserved. I feel like she is one of the best lyrical rappers of the 2010s moving into the 2020s. You guys should definitely go check out her project Whack World. I had that on loop in 2018, if I'm being honest. Number 24, Doechii. I mean, I don't think it's too early to say. With the pool of talent, I say absolutely, if not higher. Number 23, Gangsta Boo. Okay. 21, Glorilla. All right. Okay. I'm wondering who's going to be top 10 at this point. Rhapsody. Well deserved. I feel like should be a tiny bit higher as well. Doja Cat, I feel like should be higher as well, if I'm being honest. Megan Thee Stallion, I would drop her a little bit lower if I'm being honest, but I do love Meg. But I do think Doja Cat is a better rapper than Megan Thee Stallion. And I think Rhapsody is also a better rapper than Megan Thee Stallion. Left Eye at 14. Okay. Top 10. Let's get into it. Okay, in our number 10 spot, we got Foxy. Okay, Foxy Brown. Eve. Okay. I actually love seeing the Eve love on this list. Good job, Billboard. Roxanne Shante at top 10 is kind of crazy. Above Rhapsody. Are we just talking about rapping? Or are we talking about hit making? We talking about artists? It said female rappers of all time. MC Lyte. I expected MC Lyte to low-key be top 5, if I'm being honest. Queen Latifah, okay. Lil Kim, okay. I feel like, yeah, we're gonna get hit. Lauryn Hill, Nicki. Who's number 3? Lauryn Hill. Who's number 2? Because I thought Lauryn was gonna be 1 or 2. Who am I forgetting besides Nicki? Missy. No. Well, I mean, Missy better be on this list. Yes, there we have it. Number 2, Missy Elliott. That's actually a very insane ranking. If you remember Missy Elliott's peak, I'm all here for this. I'm 100% here for the number 2 spot. She would be in my personal top 5. Like just based on my generation, how I grew up, the things that I was listening to, she would be in my top 5. And I'm assuming number 1, of course, is the Queen, Nicki Minaj. Yeah, Nicki Minaj is my female rapper of my life. I grew up on Nicki. I had the Barbie chain iced out when I was younger. I had the pink wristbands. I was not playing around. Nicki was my girl, okay? Despite how I feel about Nicki Minaj's actions in media today, she's one of those artists that I have to separate the art from the artist. I just gotta do it. But I grew up on her. Absolutely love Nicki Minaj. If you disagree with Nicki being first, I would hear your argument. Put your argument in the comments. If you disagree with Nicki Minaj being first on this list, put it in the comments because I would hear your argument out. But in terms of artistry, in terms of songwriting, in terms of curating and making hits, in terms of music videos, in terms of an aesthetic, in terms of building eras, in terms of collaborations, in terms of being soloed in a male-dominated field, what other person did that on this list? I'll wait. Exactly. You can't. Moving on. The last thing that I wanted to get into is just to leave you guys with a little fun question. Who on this list would make the best hit? Not the biggest, the best hit. In your opinion, let me know. Honestly, just taking a look at this, Team A, we've got Ariana, Selena, you got Bruno there. I mean, you got SZA, Kesha. Like, there's a couple people there. Team B, I mean, you got Beyonce, you got Jay, you got Megan, you got Gracie, but also you have Diddy. So that's Team B is automatically canceled out. Team C, you got Mariah, Brittany, Kendrick. Ooh, Team C is actually... Who is that? Anita? Who is that? Nicki? Ooh, Team C might be my go-to choice. But also down here, we've got Billie. Who is that? Miley, Bad Bunny, Kali Uchis. Is that Katy Perry, Doja? That would be a very interesting mix, but I don't think it would make the biggest hit. Team C, in terms of music videos, in terms of songwriting and vocal ability, I think Team C has it so far. Team E, we've got Rihanna, Lana Del Rey, The Weeknd. I don't think this would... Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, Shakira. I don't think that this would be a hit. I think if you take Taylor and Rihanna and The Weeknd out of this, it kind of falls flat for me. Team F, we've got Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Olivia Rodrigo, Ray, I don't, is that Camila Cabello? And then Tyler, the Creator. This is an oddball. I think this will be a very good performance, but in terms of radio and the song, no. I think this would be a very dope collaborative performance. So in my humble opinion, I'd have to give it to Team C with Mariah, Brittany, Kendrick, Sabrina, I think that's Anita, and then Nicki Minaj. Let me know your picks in the comments and also explain it. I want to know why you chose that group. That is all this Monday, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you want to see more of my face, I do have an Instagram and TikTok. You guys should go follow me over there. Go support me over on that Patreon for $3 a month. It keeps me creating content just like this. You also have access to the Discord through Patreon where you can send me reaction requests directly, or we can just chat about music, you know? I'm chatting in there with y'all like literally every day. And if you're even thinking about subscribing, you're already here, so you might as well stay for a while. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next Monday.